Crime and Wine. I'm Pamela Fagan Hutchins, your host, and this is the show where I talk with other crime fiction writers about the stories of thrills and suspense that will leave you mystified, sometimes horrified, and always wanting more. Please join me in welcoming today's special guest. Hello out there, everybody, from me, Pamela Fagan Hutchins, and behind me, Willet, the very bad Alaskan Malamute, who probably is going to be super good today. And I actually got my hand on the other one. My husband is out of the country, and both dogs have become quite clingy, which is a whole lot of clingy and a whole lot of fur transference, believe me. Well, I'm very excited today. Another episode of Crime and Wine. I can already see you guys starting to buzz in with the comments. Oh my gosh. Hi, Charlene. I am hosting somebody today that is a good friend of mine. We do lots of writerly things together, and she also has a wonderful show we'll talk about of her own. Before we get to that, I did want to tell you that it won't hurt my feelings if you read one of my so far 4 new releases this year, which are in the Delaney Pace series, Her Silent Bones, Her Hidden Grave, and Her Last Cry, or number 8 in the Patrick Flint series, Skin and Bones. In case you follow me but have been under a rock, you now know they are out there. So let's dispense with all that self-promotion stuff and get on to the good stuff. Oh, yay, the dog left. Greta Boris is our guest today. Welcome. It's so nice to have you.
Hi, Pamela, and your cute doggies.
You say that now, they may be just terrible. Your dog, though, we were talking offline, and your dog is being quiet and good.
Yeah, she's so old. She just sits there.
Yeah, she keeps the floor warm.
Yes, she does.
So now we're here today a few months late because sickness overcame you last time. We were going to talk right when Splitting Hairs was coming out, your new Mortician's mystery series book. And instead, we're here a few months later. But to everybody else, it's still the newest in the series. So congratulations for starters.
Well, thank you. And I do have an actual new release that's just at the end of May, the audio. The first book went live, and the audio for the second book is going live this month. So the audio books are popping up.
That's super exciting. So this is the first audio of this series. I mean, this is brand new for Imogene. Mm-hmm. Well, we've got someone telling you that they're loving the series, Charlene Capadis. So already having the love starting to pour in for you and Imogene. So with the audio, are you planning on doing the whole series? Is this something that's going to be rolling out over the course of the year, or?
So I signed a contract with Tantor Media at the end of last year, and they're doing the first 6 books. So which is all that's published so far. So if and when I write more, I'll just approach him and say, hey, how about we keep going? So
yay! Well, so this is number 6, right, in the series? Or
yes.
Yes,
Splitting Hairs is number 6. The first one is To Die For. I actually brought a copy too.
Awesome. So those that are on with us on video, it's very beautiful if you're on audio. Yeah. Now, this is not your first series. Your first series that you wrote was a totally different tone, right?
Yes. So the first series I wrote was with a publisher out of Texas, and it is originally The 7 Deadly Sins. So there were 7, obviously, and just recently we signed a new contract to relaunch that series with fresh covers, fresh titles, and kind of a new vibe. So we're turning it into an almost true crime series with a podcaster host who is basically kind of like a narrator who introduces each story and weaves her way through, giving her opinions, and some of her backstory pops out in the process of the 7.
So it's a repackaging and a reimagining of the series. It's not 100% new. It's just going to feel fresh and new.
Right. Like people who read the original series, the first couple of books have been very much rewritten because as you write more books, you go back to your early books and you go,
Yeah. No.
who thought this was any good? You know, but those have had pretty serious rewrites. But anybody who read the original series will be the same story. The basic plot is the same and the characters are the same, but there are a lot of different nuances and so on. So
That's such a fresh idea. And okay, there's a dog behind me throwing her toy on the floor in protest to me talking to you. So stop it, will it? um, and yet, like I was saying, such a different tone than Imogene and the Mortician's murders. So tell me about how you got started writing funny, because those books are hilarious.
oh, thank you. So actually, it was like I was in the middle. I think I was like at book 6 or something of the Seven Deadlies or book 5. I don't know. And all of a sudden, it's like these books are kind of scary and they're kind of serious. And I just need to do something different. And I got this idea and I started noodling around with it. And then as we got closer to COVID, it was like, oh, yeah, I totally need something
Totally.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah. People need escape. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if everybody listening knows this or not, but if they go out to your website, they can actually get kind of like an appetizer version with your newsletter. So the Mortuary
Yeah.
School, is that the name of your?
It's called Mortuary School, and it's a novella that takes place between books 1 and books 2. But you totally can read it out of order. Just I got one review that said you're really missing the chance to develop this character, and I felt like, going, would you please read book 1? But anyway, um, yes, but yeah. So it's between books 1 and book 2, and it's Imogene's adventures at Mortuary School when she goes to mortuary school.
Well, I'm just going to tell you that while that person that left that review might be right about some other things, they're not right about this, because it was the first story I read in the series, and I thought she was utterly delightful. And so, I felt like I could just jump in and then jump back into the series at number 1. So however people do it, whether they go and try the appetizer or whether they just go out and try to dive for right off the bat, or if you've already been reading, you guys, you can go straight to number 6, of course, splitting hairs.
Yeah.
All of it works. Now that you've had a chance to write a series that's more straight up thriller and one that is funny, amateur sleuth, borders on, has a lot of the thematic elements of cozy, but yet still is different from cozy from my take on it.
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of para cozy, like
yeah, which is better. And but now that you have done a little of each, do you like keeping both sides of that mystery brain exercise, or do you have a favorite?
oh no, I like them both. I feel like because I've been rewriting, editing and rewriting the Seven Deadlies, and I'm actually on the 7th book right now, to getting the last 3 ready to send to the publisher. And I'm so enjoying it, and I'm so ready to get back to Imogene and the gang.
Yeah.
I like miss them when I get away from them for too long.
I would too. They're fun and they're friends, and I've written funny, and I write much less funny currently, and I miss the funny. There's just parts of that. Well, it's like you said when you started writing and it was COVID. It keeps the soul light, to mix your murder with your humor.
Yeah. We needed to go for the lighter side of death during COVID. That was my.
I'm a believer that escape in whatever literary form we want, we should embrace, right? So
yes.
give it all to them. Do you have a favorite that you like to read? Do you have a genre that is your go-to?
Oh, well, mystery thriller
Mystery.
is usually my go-to. But right now, I'm actually reading Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn series.
Really?
So I'm dipping into fantasy. My daughter and her husband read it, and they were like, "It's so good." So I'm reading, and Brandon Sanderson, of course, it's amazing. And I
Yes.
do love to like pop into sci-fi every now and again. I just finished reading the Hail Mary project, the Andy Weir's. And I loved that. It actually had a mystery in it too, of course. All books have mysteries in them, really.
I think so too. I mean, that's to me, life is full of the little mysteries, just like I feel like life is full of the little heartbreaks, the little romances, the little family drama. And the books that I love tend to just full on embrace all those things. But maybe it's just me. What do you guys do out there?
Which is why I love your Patrick Flint books.
Oh, well,
they
thank you.
just do all that for me. I just love
They-
Patrick Flint.
They try. They do their best. In fact, I'm going to kill this dog in a second. I'm having dinner with my parents tonight. And the last time I was over there last week, I warned my dad my idea for the next Patrick Flint book. I always start with something embarrassing about my father, something true and embarrassing. And he's already horrified. So I can't wait. I can't wait.
But revenge. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. All those times you were mean to me as a kid, Dad, except he wasn't. Yeah. He's a great dad. Okay, so when it came to that moment where you started writing the Mortuary series, how did this idea come to you? Because you seem so well versed in all things mortician.
Well, okay, this is actually a really funny story. It was my daughter, but I don't remember why she told me about this, but she goes, Mom, have you ever watched the YouTube channel show Ask a Mortician? And I'm like, why no, darling daughter, I have never watched Ask a Mortician. She goes, you need to watch it. It's like so funny. I'm like, funny? And it is a real life mortician. Her name is Caitlin Dowdy. And she has a YouTube show called Ask a Mortician. And she is hysterical. And it's very gallows humor. And she's kind of goth looking. And her first book, it's a memoir. It hit the New York Times bestseller list, and it's called Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Tales from a Crematory. I mean, she's just got that kind of humor. And I thought, wow, she would make a great character.
Yeah.
For like murder mysteries, with that. But I didn't have a good, obviously I didn't want to just imitate her. But she got me going and that thinking along those lines. And then I was at the hairdressers, and somebody brought up the fact that one of the hairstylists moonlighted at a local mortuary doing hair and makeup.
Gosh.
And apparently this is a thing.
Yeah,
they do this. And some of my readers have emailed me and said, oh yeah, my aunt used to do that, or oh yeah, my cousin used to do it. I'm like, and so I thought, oh, okay, there you go. Book one. She's a hairstylist. She needs money really bad because she works at a hair salon, a senior citizen hair salon, and all her clients are dying. An unusual number of clients are dying. And the first chapter, she gets the request from one of her clients who didn't show up that day because she was dead, to do her hair and makeup for her funeral. And of course, she's all flipped out and she doesn't want to go. But she really needs the money. So she goes. And then she discovers over the course of the first book that she has this really bizarre talent that whenever she touches the hair of the deceased, she gets their final experiences in life, like sensations and of their final experiences in life. And it takes her a while to figure this out. But if they were murdered, yeah, they follow her home and they just don't really leave her alone.
Oh my gosh.
She has to solve the crime.
Okay, so we get from there all the way to number 6, and how are you still cultivating the ideas? Do these come to you kind of organically? Do you pull them from real life? I mean, what, like with Splitting Hairs, where did that one come from for you? Can't speak.
Well, now that she knows that when she touches the hair of the dead, she's going to get their final emotions or their final sensations, she really avoids it. Like if she wears latex gloves, she doesn't get a hit. That's what she calls it. So getting her to touch the hair of the dead person gets harder and harder. So I actually read in the newspaper a just horrific story about this person who was sent to the mortuary. And then when they unzipped the bag and they were getting ready to start the embalming process, the person gasped and came alive. And
oh my gosh, this is real. That is real. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I know. So then I thought, well, what if she, inadvertently touches the hair of this person when she gets knocked into him or something, but doesn't get a hit? And then she would wonder, maybe her gift is gone, her talent is gone, but maybe the person really wasn't dead, is sort of where it goes in the first one. But
You've got a
so that,
weird imagination.
yeah, you got to keep coming up with these things. And
Yeah.
then I also decided, because I felt like going on vacation and I couldn't. I decided I wanted her to go to Catalina Island, and I thought it would be really fun to involve pirates, and discovered there really was a pirate who sacked the coast of California. So, I had to bring in a one of his ancestors who's now a treasure hunter. So I just had fun.
That sounds so fun. Now, do you already have an idea? Are you working on number 7, or have you been so on the other mostly true crime that you're not able to focus much on Imogene?
Well,
Imogen.
what I am planning to do this year for her is a Christmas. And so it may be outside, sort of outside the series. It may be a novella. We'll see how long it goes. But I actually already bought the cover, and I have the title. It's called Oh Harry Night. And it's, she's going to get visited by 3 spirits.
Oh,
It just has to happen, right? Ghost of
that's so
Christmas past
fun.
and a present and future. So I'll bring in a ghost from an old book, and that. So I have the
I love it.
ideas, I have the cover, I have my editor lined up. I just got to get the 7 Deadly, oh, well, no, the almost true crime series off
Yes.
my plate so I can write my Christmas novella. And then I'm planning probably to do 3 more after that. I kind of write these in trilogies.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
do the same thing. And I feel like I sometimes kick myself because it'll be like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. We just finished number 6. But then I'll write number 7. I'll go, damn it. Now I've got to do 8 and 9. It's just where
I know.
or I'm on 2. Now I got to do 3. Oh, so it's
But
terrible.
I kind of kept developing the evil villain guy, and he's
Yeah.
gotten worse and worse. He's sort of in the background of every book, and now it's like she's going to have the face off with the evil villain, and it'll probably take a couple of books to really,
Yeah. Get that
you
one
know,
across. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and that makes for a wonderful series climax if you can make it last that long. Now we have to segue. We have to. It's a graven responsibility into these speed round questions. I
Amen.
because this allows the readers to see some of what might be your goofier side or your more serious side, and also to compare it to the other authors that have gone on the show before. If anybody's watching this and the reason I look like I'm exercising, it's because I am petting a very bad dog as hard as I can to keep her quiet. Okay, so Willett, what would be the first question you'd like to ask? Would you be a sushi or a pizza person,
Oh,
Miss?
sushi all day long.
I so knew that was going to be your answer. We can't do raw fish in Wyoming. So you're on the coast though. Pretty, that
Well,
makes,
yeah, 10-minute drive from the ocean.
yeah. So that one was too easy for you. Okay. So if you were going to happy hour with Imogene or Imogen, which am
Imogene.
okay, Imogene.
Mhm.
It, would either of you be having a cocktail or a glass of wine? And if so, what would it be?
Well, I would definitely be having wine. And Imogene, she drinks wine, but I think she'd probably prefer a beer.
Yeah, I got that from her that she might
Yeah.
be a beer kind of person. You and I could have the wine. When I was living up the road from you in California for the last year, we discovered Paso Robles, and
Oh, go there
that
all the time. I love
that
it.
was dangerous. It was really dangerous. So yeah.
So I have a red wine that's called Red Ravish that I made up, that my first character in my first 7 Deadly Sin book got in Paso. And every character in every one of my books ends up having Red Ravish at some point in time.
I absolutely love that. So you guys watch for Red Ravish. It's a series crosser for her. So it's a little Easter egg. Do you
Yeah.
do any other Easter eggs?
Yeah. So, like in the Imogene series, she has been to certain places that are in the Almost True Crime series.
Mm,
Um, so she's visited a house that is that a crime took place in book 5 in the other series, and then of course, so it's mostly places. Oh, and then the detective, who never is really that much of a character, but she comes in and out of every book of the Almost True Crime series. She actually came in at the end of book 6 of Imogene. So
cool.
the detective popped in, and then of course there's Red Radish.
It pays to be a read through reader, for an author's series. To me, I think you get to see the writer develop, you get to see huge changes in what they do, like switching over to paracozy or what, and you get the Easter eggs. I love
Yeah,
that.
the
So now,
world gets bigger and bigger.
yes, it does. It does. And harder to keep track of for those of us writing them. Hey, so now if you are sitting down to write, are you a structured, I'm in my office, I wear work clothes kind of person? Are you a catch as catch can? Do you have a comfy outfit? What's your thing?
No, I go comfortable when I'm writing, and I have a favorite chair in my backyard if weather permits. I'm out there, even if it's a little chilly, I'll wrap up in a blanket and sit out there in the backyard and write.
Nice.
Um, if it's not doesn't permit, I sit on the couch, feet up, comfy clothes, as comfy as possible, depending on where I'm going later. Yoga pants or something. That's
Do you write every day? I didn't tell you this one was coming.
You did it. I, I, that would be the goal. Let's just say that.
You and me both, right? It's like when I'm on a deadline, I write obsessively every day. And then I'm like, yeah, I write every day. And then I take a month and a half, right? I
Yeah.
procrastinate my way out of anything. Oh, the bad dog is back. She's brought a new toy, thinking that might entice me to hang up on you. It's not going to work, will it? Now, are you I hope I get this one right. I always try to guess ahead of time. Are you a plotter who outlines and plots things ahead of time? Or are you a pantser who just takes off freestyle in
I'm
writing?
a planter. Like I plot a little, and then like I usually know the crime that took place and who did it. But
Yeah.
there are times where I'll get partway through the book and go, no, if everybody will know who did this. So then I pick somebody else. I just change it. And yeah, or I'll get a third of the way through a book, and I'll go, this is the stupidest. Why would I ever think anybody would want to read this? And then I, come up with more ideas. So I'm kind of like jigger jagger. I go back and forth.
That's cool. You have a plan, but you've got flexibility. You give yourself some room.
Yeah, lots
And
of flexibility.
do you have writing critique groups or partners or people that you run ideas by or brainstorm with?
Yeah, I have an amazing critique group actually. They've been around for over 50 years. No, I haven't been part of it for over 50 years, so just saying that.
When you're
We've had
27, it's hard to be part of something that long.
exactly. But we've had like amazing authors like Neil Schusterman is part of the group when I joined. He won the young adult or uh, fiction award, national fiction award, and his books are being turned into movies. And we've had like all these amazing T. Jefferson Parker, I think, was in the group, or somebody like that. Anyway, all these amazing people in the group, and they let me in. I couldn't believe it. And
They were
so,
smart. That's why.
oh, I thank you. But they're great. Once COVID hit, we started meeting on Zoom. Well, half the group meets in Zoom and half the group does email. So I'm a Zoomer, and yeah, we get together on Zoom every other week. And some of the best writers that I have ever met are in that group, and they're just inspiring, and they're tough. Like one of my friends, Terry Black, he's just super funny guy. And if I write something and it isn't, he'll go, Greta, that wasn't funny. I'm like, dang it. But you're not funny either.
Don't
Anyway,
sugarcoat it too much. Yeah.
yeah, really. But they're just great. They're super helpful. And one of the women in the group, she and I walk together almost every week. We'll walk 4 or 5 miles, and we are always going, "Hey, I am stuck on a plot point. Can I talk it out with you?" And we help each other. It's super helpful.
That's awesome. I love that. And I love that you've got, continuity with them. They're people that have been with you through several books and they really know your style and know what you're doing. That helps a lot too, I think.
Oh, I think so too.
Well, okay. So the last one of the speed questions that I'm going to ask you, although if there was any I didn't, and you're like, I had a great answer to that, you can go ahead. But if you were to win the lottery, what would be the first things that you would blow your winnings on?
Oh, yeah, I thought about this one quite a bit. I'm glad you asked me because I did. I decided I would buy a cute little beach cottage somewhere sort of up the coast, close to Paso Robles, but not in Paso because it's too hot, but more on the coast.
Yeah. Morro Bay is nice, or somewhere north of that.
Yeah, like we go to Morro Bay a lot. So I would buy 3, one for me, one for my daughter and her family, and one for my son and his wife, so that we could all hang.
And given where you're choosing 3 little cottages, that'd pretty much eat up all your lottery winnings. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it would have to be a big lottery win to get those.
My husband and I fell in love with Morro Bay when we were marooned in Bakersfield. So Paso and Morro were kind of our go-to places. So you just need to invite me.
I saw your pictures and I was like, oh, I wish I was there. We went just about a month after you were there, I think, or a few weeks after.
It's so fun. And we got the same Airbnb both times that we were able to go for a long weekend, where the sea otters would be like sleeping out in the water outside, our deck. And this baby sea otter was eating a crab right in front of us, 15 feet away. Just so cool.
I know.
I'm a little obsessed with sea otters and moose. Now I'm back in Wyoming. I can be obsessed with moose again. So, well,
there you go.
I am so excited that we got this to work after having to,
Yes, I'm so sorry about that.
You were really sick. I'm sorry you were so sick.
Yeah, I had a couple like back-to-back flu. My grandson is 2.5 and has the cutest nose, and I tend to kiss it, and I am really trying not to because I do think that is part of the reason I've had all these colds this year. Because they're adorable little germ bags.
They are.
Their immune system, and it's
yeah.
Anyway.
My grandson's 2.5 as well. Have to throw that in there, and very cute. And I haven't seen him in a couple of months, so but he's going to be here soon. Yay. Well, I hope that the audiobook releases go fantastic for you, and that all of it. I mean, you've got so much cooking right now with the new release of Splitting Hairs and with the re-release and reimagining of the Mostly True Crime series. I mean, girl, you're hard at it.
I actually have an audiobook releasing every month for 6 months starting in May, and then I have a new novel releasing every month for 7 months starting in August. So
good grief.
I'm honing my Facebook ad skills, I'll tell you.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, let me know if there's anything that I can do for you when we get closer to that time, because I know that that's going to be exciting, but also busy, and authors can use a little help when that happens.
It's so good to have the support.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Everybody give a wave goodbye to Greta. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, we have somebody right here that's saying that they're going to give this author and series a try. I needed to let you know that before we actually said
Bob.
All right. So I will talk to you soon, I hope.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And for the rest of you out there, I do want to go over a couple of exciting things. Number one, the dog has finally left the room. I have literally been wrestling with her, trying not to make it obvious as she drops the toy on my foot. Eric is in Hungary, and she's going out of her mind. Well, she's always been out of her mind. The other thing is that I am like two shakes of a lamb's tail away from turning in the copy edit from hell for the next Delaney Pace book, which has a title now, which I'm not going to write anywhere. But if you're watching this show, you get to know it. It's called Her Forgotten Shadow. I think that's my favorite one of the titles so far, and that'll be October 9th. So that is in the works. And it has put Jen Harrington a little behind to have the copy edit from hell, which is very unusual, by the way. If you're ever been a writer or aspire to be a writer, that's usually not the hardest part. So Jen is still struggling. She's going to be pushed back till November. I've got a contractual obligation to not publish any other books within 45 days on either side of a new Delaney book. So even though it's going to be ready earlier, because it's not going to be ready in time, I hate to tell you, it's going to have to wait until November. But it is starting to really come together. And it's really a bummer that I can't, oh gosh, there she is, that I can't publish it as planned or a week or two late, because it was already the very last day that I could have published it. Blah, 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 blah. Lots of good comments coming in. Thank you for the yay and the can't wait. And yes, we love the Wyoming-based series, Bob. I am back in Wyoming. I am sitting here with my horrible dog. And thank you, Sandra. Oh gosh, that's a clear sign that I need to be done, isn't it? So the last few things, to watch past shows, to prepare for the upcoming shows of other authors. She's a talker, you guys. You go out to my website, PamelaFaganHutchins.com, and you can read ahead on the books. So you can really be ready to kind of approach these like a book club, right? If you ever want me to book club with you, I Zoom, StreamYard, whatever, for any of the books past or upcoming that I've written. You can get my books in really any format. You can get them from my website. You can get them from any of the retailers, and ask your library to order them. I'm going to kill me some Willet. Finally, Crime and Wine is a solely owned and copyrighted production of Authors on the Air Global Radio Network, a digital media group with over 4 million viewers and listeners in 153 plus countries. Whew, easy for me to say, right? You guys, thank you so much for tuning in again. Thank you for reading, and go out and try to Die For if you haven't started the Mortician series, or Splitting Hairs if you've already read the first 5 books in the series. Greta's fantastic, and you've really got to give her a try if you haven't already. That's all I got for now, folks. You take care.
Thanks for joining us today on Crime and Wine, chats with crime fiction authors and Pamela Fagan Hutchins. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll check back in with us next time for more thrills, suspense, and stories that will mystify, sometimes horrify, and always leave you wanting more.